I think he's a good kid. I've said in the past that I think he can be a champion, and I do think, just like I said with Jared Anderson, I think Jared and Moses are very, very both good fighters.
My skill set, if you're talking about my ring IQ and what I display in the ring, I feel like...
Listen, just be careful. And I messaged Moses, I'm like, Moses, just fight him, but don't put him to sleep.
Derek Chisora has never been one to dress the truth in polite words. When he talks about the looming clash between Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte, he's as blunt as ever: Moses will destroy Dillian. That's not clickbait. It's gospel from a man who's fought in the trenches of heavyweight boxing. Chisora is a war dog, and when someone like him...
Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward. Moses is on fire, so we're just going to decide who's going to go to prison when Dylan gets...
Warns YT to back off. The boxing world pays attention. This isn't just hype around a prospect. Moses isn't promising. He's a full-blown problem for anyone in his path. Chisora is not the only one sounding the alarm. Even Tyson Fury, the reigning heavyweight king and master of mind games, has weighed in. When Fury questions what YT has left in the tank, you know it's serious.
Much that Dillian Whyte has left, and could this be potential? I think it does have the potential to do what Martin McCauley did to Jared Anderson. Maybe it's too early, or maybe he passes with flying colours. And that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely...
His praise for Moses isn't casual either. He calls him a sponge soaking up knowledge and growing sharper with every fight. But Moses isn't simply learning, he's weaponizing everything he absorbs, breaking down opponents with ruthless efficiency that belies his young age. Then there's Peter Fury, a man who's trained...
He's got speed, he's got power, he's tough, he's game. He ticks all the boxes so far. So let's see. Again, he's young. He's not really been tested because what he's doing to these opponents. So let's say it's early.
World champions and seen talent come and go. His verdict on Moses adds more fuel to the fire. Peter isn't just giving polite approval, he's ticking off the traits of a future world champion: power, speed, toughness. The reason Moses remains untested is...
You need to almost see the old school Dillian Whyte who, wasn't afraid of anyone, would put it on anyone, because Moses is still only 20. And I almost feel like if Dillian needs a path to victory, it might start from outside the ring first, and then we'll see. Because there would have been a time when Moses has grown up and he's watching Dillian.
Simple. Nobody lasts long enough to put him through a real trial. He's not passing exams, he's dismantling the exam itself. And that's where the stakes get real. This fight isn't just a challenge for YT, it's an identity crisis. The man who once flipped tables at press conferences
establishes himself, so we'll just wait and see, but it's exciting.
Yeah. What do you make of Itauma versus Dillian Whyte?
It's a good fight. Dillian likes to fight. He'll have to tear up. Yeah. You can't test this man's cojones. He'll fight anybody and everybody. So with Dillian doing that, you think, you know what? It's a good fight, good testing fight. And
differences now faces a 20-year-old phenom fighting for dominance. Moses may have grown up watching YT, but now he's coming to end him. The roles have flipped completely. Johnny Nelson isn't sugarcoating it either. He sees YT as a potential gatekeeper, and Moses has the keys to blow the gates wide open. Sure, YT will turn up to fight, he's always been game. But this isn't about showing up, it's about surviving. And Moses isn't knocking politely, he's here to kick the door clean off its hinges. Andrew McCart strips it down to the truth: this fight isn't...
The reason being is because Moses Itauma, we've been saying now, is that guy. He needs that test, he needs that step up. And I think Dillian Whyte is that guy. Dillian Whyte's probably found it hard now to get that big fight. He's probably said, I'll fight Moses Itauma if you give me X amount of money. And that's
happening because YT is chasing legacy. It's happening because the money is there, and Moses is the hottest name in British boxing. YT's star has dimmed, his big fight options have dried up, and this clash may be his last ticket out of the shadows. But here's the twist. What's a cash out for YT is a launch pad for Moses. Moses knows it. He isn't chasing tests, he's collecting names. And if YT thinks this is an easy payday, he's walking into a brutal surprise. Moses isn't here to spar with old lions, he's here to dethrone them. This isn't a respectful passing of the torch, it's a takeover. Enter Gareth A. Davies, who sums up exactly why the boxing world is buzzing about Moses Itauma. You know a star is emerging when Davies is ringside, mic in hand, chasing every
wanting to go there because Moses Itauma is fascinating. I spoke to Francis Warren ringside on Saturday night. You had a microphone as well. Were you allowed to put the pressure on them to speak? Because I just did anyway. And Francis almost denied.
inside angle. Moses has that effect, undefeated, untested, untouched. That air of mystery pulls in everyone, fans, promoters, and seasoned pundits. Davies wasn't just covering the fight, he was leaning in, applying pressure, eager to see how far this young phenom could go. Nobody wants to miss the breakout moment, and there's a growing sense this could be it. This fight isn't about giving Dillian Whyte another shot, it's about catching Moses before he becomes untouchable. Everyone wants a ringside seat to the coronation. Whyte, for his part, is talking strategy, timing, and tactics. Fair enough, but let's be honest, that's the voice of a veteran preparing for a fight he knows will be brutal.
I'm not just focusing on one punch, I'm focusing more on strategy and getting to the strategy position to learn what we're learning. It's a southpaw, so you can't just walk up to him and learn left hook and then the same like you do on other people. So you have to set it up and timing and stuff. So yeah, it's been working.
The days of bulldozing opponents are gone. Now Whyte speaks like a chess player, hoping to outthink a young lion. That's a dangerous gamble. Moses isn't just fast and powerful, his ring IQ is skyrocketing. If Whyte thinks a few clever setups and an old playbook will be enough, he's in for a shock. This is no raw, reckless 20-year-old, he's a cold, calculated destroyer. He's been steamrolling everyone in his path, and even normally measured voices like Adam Smith can barely hide their excitement. Calling Moses very, very good might sound understated, but from Smith, it's practically shouting. Still, there's a whisper of doubt. Maybe Whyte is too much too soon. That's what makes the...
Some people might say he'll get rid of Dillian Whyte like he has the others. Maybe not. Maybe Dillian's too much for him at this stage.
This fight a must-watch. It's the collision of two timelines. Whyte's battered, battle-hardened past versus Moses's blazing, unbeaten future. If Moses handles Whyte the way he's handled everyone else, the prospect tag disappears. He'll be the guy. But if Whyte pulls off the upset, it's a rebirth. Proof there's still fight in the old dog. Smith puts it best. Against Moses, toughness and strategy aren't enough. His footwork and timing are lethal. You commit, he counters. You hesitate, he hunts you down. You play safe, and he drowns you in pressure. He fights at a range most veterans can't even measure. That's not just speed, it's intelligence in motion. Against Moses, you have to be perfect. And even perfection might not save you. Frank Warren knows the difference between hype and the real thing.
Is that his feet and his distance and his range is so good and he's so quick that if you commit to the punches, you're going to get countered. And if you don't, you're going to get backed up and taken out. So it's a real puzzle. There's not many heavyweights that are southpaws. Obviously, Alexander Usyk is, but he's moved up into that domain.
When he talks about Moses, it's with the conviction of a man who's seen champions born. Warren doesn't hand out praise lightly, and Moses isn't padding his record with journeymen. He's been dismantling seasoned, world-class opposition, which is why his fights rarely go the distance. Not because he's untested, because his opponents can't survive long enough to test him. That's why this fight is massive. If Moses flattens Whyte, nobody can say he's green. Nobody will doubt his class. It will be official. Moses Itauma is a future world champion in motion. And then there's Simon Jordan, slicing through the noise. This fight is happening because Team Moses believes the risk is controlled. They're not throwing him in there to learn. They're throwing him in to win, convincingly. If they truly thought Whyte was dangerous, this fight wouldn't be happening. But Whyte still has name value, miles on the clock, and just enough left to push Moses a few rounds, enough to showcase why he's ahead of schedule. Jordan sees this for what it is, the next step after the likes of Marius Wack and Dempsey McKean.
Once, but I'm talking about with somebody who doesn't fiddle around, somebody who actually would like to get him in the latter rounds and is capable of knocking people over. You know, he's a puncher. You've seen him do it, and he's done.
Those were warm-ups. This is the next level, but it's not a risk. It's a calculated statement. Moses isn't just expected to win. He's expected to dominate, to make a statement so loud that the heavyweight division can't ignore him. This isn't just another generational clash. It's a full-blown crossroads moment for Moses Itauma. It's his chance to silence every doubter who says too soon and announce to the world that the heavyweight throne has a new contender storming the gates. If Moses demolishes Dillian Whyte the way many expect, the narrative flips overnight. He'll no longer be a prospect. He'll become a force, undeniable, unavoidable, unstoppable. But if Dillian Whyte can do the unthinkable, if he can weather the storm, drag Moses into deep, dirty waters, and expose a flaw nobody's seen yet, he doesn't just save his career, he resurrects it. He becomes the first man to...
I think it's a great fight, you know, but it'll be fascinating to see how Moses goes against Dillian. I don't think they put him in against Dillian Whyte if they think there's real jeopardy for them. I think they might get a few rounds and get asked a few more questions than possibly they've been asked by Marius Wack and Dempsey McKean, but I don't think much...
to show that Moses can be beaten, and that would shake the division to its core. So who really wants it more? Moses is young, hungry, and already looking like the complete package. YT is fighting with his back against the wall, and those men are always dangerous. But momentum, skill, and fire all sit firmly in Moses Itauma's corner. This could be the night where hype meets legacy, and legacy wins. The only question left is, where do you stand in this war of eras? Are you backing Moses Itauma to send a message to the entire heavyweight scene? Or do you believe Dillian Whyte has one last shock left in him? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this isn't just a fight, it's a moment that could shift the entire future of British boxing.